We haven't had this artist here in a long. Give it up for Janet!
Janet! Chicago! Smile, Janet! Smile!
I just want to enjoy the music for a little. Hi there. It's been a month. It hasn't been that long. Hi. It hasn't been that long. I would like to share with you a poem about the New Year that is in this book, Every Event of the Year. This is volume 1, which covers half the year. There's a lot of stuff when you're writing a poem every day of the year. I'd like to share this one poem with you, and it is called Waiting to Take the Plunge. Living in Chicago, I had heard of the polar plunge, this insane idea of jumping into Lake Michigan at around Christmas or New Year's when there's a ton of ice all around. And you might end up floating too if you don't get it out of that water, ice cold water, fast enough. This polar bear plunge has been in existence for a century in many countries, and it's been like globally, but you know, some of them are even done for charity, but I thought, how silly. I know that a lot of people are probably wanting to show off their manhood doing this, and I'd always refrain, even if the new Chicago Roman manual actually jumped in and did it back in the day. I chose to avoid this ritual. I can take a cold easily, but really I don't comprehend the need why people feel that they have to try to prove something. So I would act passive and aloof, like I was above such a childish behavior. But one thing happened that made me change my mind. I happened to be visiting a place, a continent I thought I would never visit, to photograph icebergs, glaciers, and wildlife I've never seen in Antarctica. So that's when they suggested that I could go for a polar plunge there, into the Southern Ocean. And oddly enough, I had a swimsuit with me on this trip, even though the temperature was only about minus 2.8 degrees Celsius or 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I want to tell you that this trip was amazing. Taking small little rubber boats on one island after another. First we crossed the choppy Drake Passage, and then we went to Half Moon Island, passing icebergs to see penguins in their natural habitat. And yeah, that is cool, but what about my polar plunge? Give me a chance to go into the Southern Ocean. Oh, stop your complaining. You'll have a chance. You can just wait a little longer. We're going to actually go off to Cooverville Island, I said. Well, you see, here you can see both chinstrap and Gen 2 penguins. And I thought, well, yeah, sure, that's double plus cool. And so I took pictures with my waterproof camera and I waited. Then, after leaving there, I thought, okay, where's my polar plunge? And I said, hey, let's first stop over at Weddell Seals over at Enterprise Island. So I thought, sure, I can do that, and the ice sculptures here were amazing. Each island has different icebergs and glaciers because of the winds and the global water passages. But at this point, I was really beginning to think that I'd waited long enough for my polar plunge. And that's when they decided to take me to mainland Antarctica, which really is the penultimate reason for going, isn't it? So while there, I actually went camping one night, which was freezingly miserable. But you know, if you're actually there, docked at Paradise Harbor on mainland Antarctica, you think, well, the least you can do is actually sleep on Antarctica, even though your sleeping bag is a little too small and you shiver for warmth all night. And as we were sitting there, an avalanche actually fell 150 yards away at 2:20 in the morning, dumping more ice into the ocean, but not quite enough ice to block our escape. Once I warm up, I think, okay, this has to be my time to take the polar plunge. But that's when the captain of our ship decided to angle the boat over toward the first humpback whales of the season. All right, this is great for these people, but they're all trying to show me one cool thing after another to distract me from my truly near the Arctic, the edge of the actual pole, an actual polar plunge. And I say, hey, why don't we go to Danko Island first, where you can see more Gen 2 penguins and all jumping into the ocean. And I think, wait a minute, I should be jumping into the ocean. but first, okay, we'll dock to Danko Harbor, and they say, just go up that mountain and you can see the penguins. So I take my first step in a coat and rubber bands and boots over 3 more layers of clothes, and on my second step, I fall 3 feet into the snow. I work to get out of this 3-foot hole that I'd made in my second step, and I take 3 steps again after digging myself out, then 40 more times with every step as I was trying to get up this mountain. And I said, no, that's it. I'm stopping. I am not fighting this mountain just to see more penguins. So instead I waddled over toward the shoreline of the Southern Ocean, where I could sit there and just wait for penguins to come to me. And come they did. And so I sat there for hours photographing over all these Gen 2 penguins, one after another diving into the ocean. Okay, this is great, but I can't take it anymore. I've waited long enough. It is my turn. And so they finally relented, and we docked so that I could get ready for doing something I thought I would never do. But this is something I was going to ever do when I was actually up north. But this was different, kind of like camping here, something that was absolutely miserable, but it was something I had to do. So, because the water could be too cold and shock my system, they strapped me to a harness. Then I waited. When it was finally my turn, one of the crewmates for a photo acted like they were pushing me in, which they didn't, of course. But then again, once I got in, it was finally into that frigid cold water. All I could think was that, surprisingly, it didn't feel cold at all. But I know that it's my body tricking my mind when I submerge myself into some temperature that's so ludicrous. So then I just opened my eyes in the salt water and looked up to where I could see the light again. I always thought that the polar plunge was this senseless act and way too over the top. But when I'm at the end of the earth, I'll gladly wait to do something that insane. That was the only thing I could ever do. Thank you. Last year, my husband John here got me this pin that I'm wearing, nice and sparkly, last Christmas. And it's also a pin that was done for a Wham song for a video years ago. They re-released it, and so he bought this for me. And because there's just been a movie about this song last Christmas, I thought we will try to sing it for you. This is originally by George Michael and Wham. This is Last Christmas. Just a little bit. Sorry, I didn't make it tall enough.
See, Mike, see how he raised the stand? He didn't.
You raised the stand there. You just...
Close enough.
Happy Christmas. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special, special. I keep my distance, but you still catch my eye. Tell me, baby, do you recognize me? Well, it's been a year, it doesn't surprise me. Happy Christmas. I wrapped it up and sent it with a note saying I love you, I meant it. Now I know what a fool I've been, but if you kiss me now, I know you'd fool me again. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Oh, baby. A crowded room, friends with tired eyes. I'm hiding from you and your soul of ice. My God, I thought you were someone to rely on. Me, I guess I was a shoulder to cry on, a face on a lover with a fire in his heart, a man undercover, but you tore me apart. Oh, now I found a real love, you'll never fool me again. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but you gave me away. I'll give it to someone, I'll give it to someone special.
The fire in his heart, the man undercover, but you tore him apart.
Maybe next year I'll give it to someone, I'll give it to someone now special. Someone, I'll give it to someone, I'll give it to someone now, who'll give me something in return. Hold my heart and watch it burn. I'll give it to someone, I'll give it to someone special. I thought you were here to stay. How can love be for a day? I'll give it to someone, I'll give it to someone. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, you gave me away. I'll give it to someone, I'll give it to someone special.
Opportunity by your have a special thing to say. But if you cannot hear when times get harder, it's best you be right on your little way.
All right, continuing the night, give it up for Janet and John. And coming up next, we have John and Janet.
Hey, technically they can't do that. No, I'm just kidding.
Where are you standing?
You go where you were before.
I'm just doing backup. This is John's.
I didn't know you were left-handed.
Yes.
How about that? The best people out.
So am I. So am I. But an industrial accident forced me to play guitar right here.
It's good to hang out with you.
Literally broke my hand in half. All right. This poem is called "It Wasn't My Intent." I'm sorry. It wasn't my intent. It was hanging there on my shirt. You know, right at the top of my shoulder where the sleeve attaches to the rest of the shirt. I know, I should have known better. Mother always told me not to pull on these strings. That I should cut these strings because pulling on them could be bad. You see, I was busy answering prayers and I kept seeing it there in a corner of my eye. It was so annoying. So, I reached up with my left hand and pulled. I'm sorry, it wasn't my intent. I pulled on a string and unraveled the fabric of space-time. At first, I didn't realize what was happening. Everything fell out of place, almost right, but not quite. You know that feeling, like a dream, or rather, like a hallucination. I pulled on a string and unraveled the fabric of space-time. There was an immense brightness like the one created so many years ago when I created this universe. It was only then when I realized what I had done. I pulled on a string and unraveled the fabric of space-time. Now I sit here alone with my thoughts. I should have listened to my mother. I should have cut that string with some scissors. She always said that a string could be recycled into another universe once I collected enough of them. I pulled on a string and unraveled the fabric of space-time. I pulled on a string and unraveled the fabric of space-time. I pulled on a string and unraveled, alone, without even walls to close in on me. You go away.
Now I take the bow and I go.
That was something that I wrote in the middle of a migraine, and this is another migraine-inspired piece from many, many years ago. I think Janet and I did it here 2 years ago. She sang. It's the first time I'm singing it here in front of people. Scratch and claw to see what I've been through. They say it's greener, but the grass keeps turning gray. And won't you tell me, when will the day come when I'll be free of all these chains that lock me into misery and keep the peace away? better way. I won't say thank you for all the things you do. I still don't feel right. Why don't you come here and step into my shoes? To see what I've been through.
Yeah, I wonder what I'm doing. What? I wonder.
I might have a special thing to say, but if you have here when times get harder, it's best you be right on my little way.
John, is that the first time you've played?
My dog, I might have a
No.
special thing to say.
No. I don't just normally do it.
All right, Janet John.